craving for something I want to eat. I need some cheese, tomatoes and olives, and maybe even some meat. I need some pizza, 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 pizza. Every time I want that pizza, 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 I go to David's Pizza.
It's about to go down. Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend Morning Show is back Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Michael Sean, that's me.
Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend, where the truth hurts, but also makes you laugh.
Baby, tap in.
We the worst records, baby. We about to create a perfectly horrible song. Y'all know I've been in the gym, and now all I wear is tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts. Yes, I do. Michael Sean wears tight shirts every day. I wear tight shirts because I'm working out some. And if I wear the right size, you won't see none of my little cuts in my arms or whatever. Short sleeve tight shirts in any type of weather. People talking trans when they see me in the street.
Your shirt's so tight, we can see your heartbeat.
Man, clown me if you want, I'm sticking to my guns. And when the summer comes, it's gonna be fun. You can crack jokes and treat me like a jerk, but one day you'll see my six-pack right through my shirt. And even if I wanted to, I just can't stop. I just might rock an Ezekiel crop top.
Whoa.
What? Did I take it too far? What?
Yes.
Whatever. Tight shirts in the morning at work and when I creep. I even wear tight pajama tops when I sleep. Tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts. Every day. Tight shirts. To the gym or wherever. Tight shirts, tight shirts, And now all I wear is tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts, tight shirts. Yes, I do. Michael Sean wears tight shirts every day. I wear tight shirts. Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning. We done made it. 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 We done made it to another Friday. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you know your therapist, or if you ever went to a therapist, if you ever been in therapy, they always say, you know, you should live every day like it's Friday. You shouldn't look forward to Friday. They shouldn't make the week that damn long. After a long Thursday morning of going back and forth with all types of dilemma and all types of drama, I had to start off with pizza. I had to start off with pizza because it's a lighthearted Friday. Wait, it's lighthearted Friday. But we got Dr. Aaron Smith on. That's right. We got guests. We got guests. We got more guests coming. We got more guests in here. But it's a Friday. Get sexy.
If you see me and you trying to see what's up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck.
On a weekend I'm looking forward to because I'm going to see the movie Center. I know they're coming for your student debt. I know they're about to put a tax on your wages and take your wages and freeze your wages and go directly to it. Don't worry about it. Who cares? Indeed, J Black is in the building. J Blizzy, J Black, what's good?
What up? What
good?
up? What
J
up?
Black
I see
is
Cypher.
in here.
See Cypher's up. Got a C with him. You got the young king. Okay.
Oh, now
Okay, I
that,
see.
my friend, is the best
That's the best pick.
profile pic you have ever chosen to put up. That is a legendary. There we go.
It's Friday, Miss Clark. Good morning.
Miss Clark, what's
Lisa.
good?
What up?
Legs, what's popping? Get all the Gamar Parents Plus was forgiving PTL. Oh, Miss Clark got the hustle. Everybody, Miss Clark, you better advise people because they coming for your wages.
Afro Queen. Good morning, DM. Afro Queen, I'm gonna be out there. I'm going to the museum out in DC next month, I believe. African American Museum.
Afro
Every
Queen.
time I think of DMV, I'd be like, I know somebody on the DMV. I got Afro Queen.
Afro Queen.
Good morning.
How was your night last night, there, Jay Blizzy, Jay Black?
I had a work event last night. It went really well. Every time I had work events, I'd be nervous when it was like speaking in front of people and on Zoom and hundreds of people. I get in my head, but it was great. Once I get everybody like, yo, you're natural, just talk, be you. But yeah, it was good. Everything was good. Good speaking engagement. What are you thinking?
It's just amazing when it's like it's just amazing when I say something, he don't listen.
It's like Lady Q. But somebody else said.
It's like now I know this is what a husband feels like when you tell your wife something and you like, yo, you need to change your oil for your car. I know they say 5,000 to 7,000 miles, but for your car, you're gonna have to change it every 3,500 miles. Yeah. Then somebody else at the job says, "Oh, you got that type of car? You need to change your oil every 3,500." And she directly changes the oil at 3,500 miles. We tell you this all the time. We tell you this not just me. We tell you this all the time. You're good at doing that. You have a presence. You have a presence about you when you speak. People listen. That's why you don't have to be loud when you talk. That's why you can just be in your tone and people listen. Dr. Smith is supposed to be on here. Hopefully he'll get on here. We normally can count on Dr. Smith. We know, but I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch.
Before they hatch. No,
All right. So what was it a Zoom or was it an actual function?
No, it was a Zoom. It was a Zoom and trying to, build people up, to give people confidence to speak to journeys and stuff like that. Basically to be you. I know sometimes we get into our head, especially as Black and brown people, just be you. Be confident. I know it may rub people the wrong way, but that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. So sometimes people need to hear that.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. Bars. Bars from Jay Black. Miss Parker, so your kids' race went well. They ran their best time of the season. Oh, good. And 1 second in their section. Those Jamaicans ain't no joke. I've been to one pin relay. I've been inside one pin relay.
Oh, you only been inside? I ran in one, but go ahead.
And let me tell you something. The Jamaicans ain't been no joke since the 90s.
Yeah, they real
I
good.
don't know what goes on that island. I don't know if they just run everywhere. I don't know.
They just them Usain Bolts. They just breed them.
And it's just the weirdest mix, Jay, because what do we know Jamaica for? Too. What's the profile of Jamaica?
They got a lot of jobs.
And weed and a lot of jobs and the music.
Yes.
Nothing in what I just said makes you think they fast.
Let me go file for deferment. I guess you were talking about student loans earlier.
Go get it. But God bless them. Jamaicans is vicious.
Good morning, sure.
Really is good. Lots of traffic. Feels like NY. It's just a smaller version. You passed Broad Street, you didn't know it. I need to make a museum trip.
How you in the city and never been to the African American Museum and you down there, Afro Queen?
Last time you went to the Liberty Bell. I just want to know what's the last time you went to go see Billy Penn? When you go see who? Where you go? When you go see? When's the last time? All the times we were in South Street, we saw all those historical things. We ain't never stopped. To be like, yo, what's this?
Let me go take some flicks over here.
Let me take some.
Soak up the culture. Let me go see what's going on.
Does something have to do with the Constitution?
I think they signed something around here.
Was it a bad check they signed? Or what?
That's funny.
I've never been to the Statue of Liberty unless I was told to go to the statue, unless it was part of the idea. I've never thought to myself, you know what? We should go to the Statue of Liberty.
You should go visit. Let me go see what it looks like to get up top.
Do you know the only reason why I went to the World Trade Center was because there was a club in it. There was a club. Miss Parker, nice. My daughter's going to the pin relays today with her track team. She doesn't run, she throws and does something else. I love LaShawn being real. She throws and does something else. There's something else.
I just support my kid.
There's something else she does. She throws something. She didn't even say the javelin.
The javelin, or is it the ball? Like
whatever that is. That's us. She
throws something. Did it go far?
It go far. And if it don't go far, she don't do good. And they measure it. They got a tape. They measure it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, girl. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Kirsten. Is it Kirsten or Kirsten?
I say Kirsten, but who knows?
She probably tired of people messing her name up too.
She just let it go. She's like, go ahead. Call me what you want. Call me Karen. Call me everything except Karen.
Oh my God.
The driving in Philly is like New York. It's nothing like New York because, man, listen, it's got similarity. I'll give you that. That's why when you said, yeah, that's my wife yesterday, your presence in the comment, that homeboy, no, watch him out.
No, because when D. Brad was talking, and he brought the, you picked up on that too, Mike?
I said that. Oh, that's Jay Black's wife.
Yeah, all right. So he picked up my demeanor. As an Ash caught that. I ain't think nobody. I wasn't even trying to do that, but all right.
Well, I hope he caught it. I'm not gonna sit up and say he caught it.
No, he did. I think he did. If Ash caught it,
he was respectful to Monty because she was my daughter. So I mean, that's just
but he was going back and forth. I felt like he went a little too far. I felt like he overstepped.
I didn't think. No, I would have went even harder if I was
because that's your daughter, of course. But somebody.
No, if I was a stranger and somebody was saying was questioning me on my journey. Oh, I would have went. I mean, that's part of the battlefield. Morning, my legendary ladies. Everybody. We know how you're watching.
The ladies.
Don't say hi to the ladies. We know how you're watching. Go ahead. Plug it in.
Roxanne. I know she's tired of that too, though.
I know you sick of that shit, Roxanne. But you can't be sick of it if you put Roxanne on it.
You put it twice, so
you put it twice. So you made us say it. You wanted that. But everybody said, was that the right? I've never seen Roxanne before. How Roxanne?
Well, I've never seen her before.
Good morning, Roxanne. How you doing? How's everything going, Roxanne? Nice profile pic. We judge profile pics here, Roxanne.
We do.
A safe space. It's a safe space.
All right, let's see her picture. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, she's posing. That's like is that the club shot? That's late night.
I don't know.
Or is that the photo shoot?
Oh, Roxanne, what's your Instagram?
She's probably married or something.
Oh, you probably married. I keep forgetting. I forget you could be married or something. Huh? Like that? With that profile pic? You think she's married?
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Well, no, she is covered.
No, it's appropriate. But I'm saying she's giving off a vibe.
Is that the thirst trap? She want the likes? Is that what she giving off, Mike?
If I would have seen that, I would have liked. I would have liked and subscribed.
Not to like and subscribe.
I would have liked to subscribe.
Good morning, Shelly. Good morning. She trying to justify why she ain't been to the museum. She's 2 hours away.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Listen, just say you ain't give a fuck until Jay said you can admit I don't give a fuck. It never crossed my mind. Run everywhere is crazy work, Mike. Yes, they run to Egypt. I didn't. No, I'm just saying. I never. If you would have showed me all their accolades and what Jamaica has dominated it, I would have never thought, oh, we got another Roxanne?
Wait, I wonder if that's her Facebook and she switched over to YouTube. Because
she switched over to YouTube.
What's the odds of having two Roxannes?
Yeah, go back to your Facebook so I can see the profile pic.
You want that Roxanne.
Put that on your YouTube, Roxanne.
K. Kirsten. I don't know. You
said Mike is right. Kirsten.
Yeah, Kirsten. Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Right, so Kirsten.
Don't get us to fumbling early in the morning. Yeah, don't do that to us.
It's too early.
I haven't been to those places since I went to field trips.
Yeah, I haven't been to William Penn since I was a kid myself. In Philly, they used to go up to William Penn and go to the top. I did that one time.
I went to the top of the Statue of Liberty in the torch. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you the biggest waste of time ever. There's a little window. You walk all these steps to get to the torch, and there's a little window, a little circle window that you look and go, oh, that's what I walked all the way up here for. Everybody, welcome to Roxanne. Thank y'all for jumping on there. Mike and J Black. Track is a filler sport for her. Oh, she doesn't run volleyball. Oh, okay. She's a volleyball and basketball player. Okay. We get it, Mike. It's
Mike
me.
Is me from the Q spot.
Okay, Roxanne. I'm gonna make believe I remember.
You ain't even act like
Roxanne.
Yo, for the Q spot. Yes.
Because I don't remember names of Roxanne. I don't remember names. I think I remember that. But I'm sure we met at the Q spot. You ain't gonna make that up.
Jeanette, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, Jay Black, I caught it. I didn't want Lady Q to bust in the door. Bust in the door.
I think Nikki might have caught something different. You know, Nikki be doing all this stuff.
Nikki, listen. Ash went right on. She said, listen. Miss Clark, I forgot I am today. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right, so we got a stupid dummy of the week.
Okay.
We got a lies detected.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't know, Jay Black. I don't know if you're on TikTok like that. You ever see TikTok where they have a cop do something? Hey, Coco, I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm not trying to trigger you. For those who don't know, Coco and Legs are police officers. I don't want to trigger nobody. But you know how they show you a part and they'll be like, this cop was fired because of what they did.
With his actions.
There'll be a part 1, there'll be a part 2, but you never get to the firing part. You never get to they never get there.
You just get to everything that was leading up to it. Be like, well, where's the part 5? I need to see where's the conclusion.
I have a video where you see the whole thing. You see the beginning corruption, you see the bullying, and then you see the humbling. So I got the whole thing. Also got the student loans. The student loans is I wanted to say that for Dr. Aaron Smith. We'll see if he gets on here. Not make believe you remember. Listen, I'll make believe. I don't off the
Mike
top.
is good for that. Since I've known him every time.
I know these people. They'll be like,
even face to face, he act like him, and then he'll remember. He'll like, oh, okay. And he talked to you for a little bit, play it off. After we be like, I don't know nothing. I don't remember them at all.
I don't know how to handle that. Because if I tell people I don't remember off the door, they go like this. Yes, you do. I've heard people say, yes, you do. Yes, we were at so-and-so, and then we went to so-and-so, and then we did the show. And I'm like, I don't have any idea. But it's very nice to meet you again. It's very nice to meet you again.
Here she go. I have a birthmark on my cheek. Oh, I thought she was talking about her cheeks. For a second. Wait a minute.
Oh, Roxanne, you went to we met at a brunch or one of the brunches, right, Roxanne? And then you were at the panel. You was it right cheek or left cheek? Yeah, what cheek?
What night was that? Was that Evolution's night? Was it a back in the day night?
No, if you're the Roxanne, I'm talking about you were super funny. Yeah, if you're the Roxanne, because we met at a brunch, you were at the panel with your girl. And then you came to the comedy show. So I think
she said not her ass cheek, Mike. It was her face. So now, you ain't you wasn't with her.
I wasn't thinking of butt cheek. I was thinking of that was Jay Black. Yes. Okay, yeah. That was Jay. Don't let him drag you into this.
Just say you remember me having
I do remember.
Wait, the Shannon Sharp.
Yo, did you see Shannon Sharp step down?
Allegedly, or was he forced?
No, he stepped down? Oh no, you already know. He said, "I'm stepping away till preseason."
Until football. So him having that timetable, that'll let it die down. So he said, "I'm not going to be on the show. I'm not even going to put ESPN in that predicament to be able to."
No, he did not say that. He did not say that. ESPN said, "We will see you. We will see you the beginning of preseason, and we'll make a decision before then if we're going to bring you back." And if the ratings don't shift, if the ratings don't drop, if the ratings stay level that whole time, we're not going to see him back.
The Cypher had sent me. I laughed. I said, "What is this?" Yeah, sent me the Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's the only. I said, "Leave that man alone. Leave that man alone." But no, that's smart though. You got to let the heat die down. You got to let it die down.
Hopefully that money guaranteed. That money's guaranteed, so they got to pay him out. If he broke the contract. He may not. I don't know. Hey, listen, I got problems of my own. Get his ass out of there. Hey.
No, we want to support this black man. I ain't getting to that. I just felt like it was all. I just don't want to see a black man lose his gig.
I get it because you don't remember me either from the radio station with Jonesy, so I get it. LaShawn.
He has no memory of that, LaShawn.
Sean, I didn't try anything. Like I didn't say. I mean, not try anything physically, but I ain't like pay you extra attention, LaShawn. Like I just let.
He ain't try to see your left cheek or right cheek.
Yeah, I ain't trying to get a number or nothing. Oh yeah, that's for real. It was all over the Shannon Sharp is stepping away, aka slow termination. Yeah, I mean, good morning, man. Let me just get a quick sports thing in here, real quick.
Okay.
What y'all did to Shakur Sanders last night?
Oh my God! You gotta let people know what you.
Number one, he had one of the greatest careers for Colorado and in football and in college football. He's Deion Sanders' son, and the man literally had an astounding Now I'm going to break this down. Passer percentage is basically the percentage of passes that you complete. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
If you complete 60% of your passes, you're doing well. He completed over 70% of his passes for a team that had a horrible offensive line. If you don't know what an offensive line, those are the guys who protect you from getting hit. His offensive line was horrid. And they went from him being a top 5 draft pick in the first round to not being picked at all in the first round.
At all. They left my man sitting there. And y'all know y'all be there. Y'all have your watch party. Well, thanks to y'all. When these players are getting drafted, they have their watch parties with all their family and friends. I saw Gilly. At his house. Gilly was there. Oh, they had all their family and friends waiting for that moment to say, with the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select, boom. And then everybody had a moment. It was 32 teams. And all 32 did not pick him for that whole first round. So he's sitting there at the watch party, and every pick they go by, they not calling his name.
And let me tell you, let me tell you,
they did him dirty, Ms. Parker.
Let me tell you, for years, quarterbacks were told that a running quarterback is not what we need in the NFL. My entire life, they would because black quarterbacks would come and they would be mobile. The majority of them. Warren Moon was kind of mobile too in his early days. And they would say you can never win with a quarterback that's mobile. You can't win with a quarterback that runs out the pocket. They said that for years. Years. This draft pick, you know what they said? The Giants, the miserable fucking Giants, made a trade because they wanted a quarterback. You know why they said they got the white quarterback? Because he's more mobile. Because he can create plays out
the Jackson pocket. Dude, the dude that they drafted.
Dart is supposed to be more mobile Jackson and Dart. More athletic.
Then Shador?
Same thing, yeah. Because Shador really doesn't scramble. He's a guy who sits in the pocket. He scrambles.
He does stay there only when it's truly necessary.
And he scrambles to throw the ball. He scrambles to make time. He's Patrick Mahomes, even though Patrick Mahomes gains yards, but he will scramble to get the ball down the field. What y'all did was y'all just set yourselves up. All you GMs set yourselves up. Because what's going to happen next year is the team that drafts him is going to get somebody who's hungrier than everybody else. Because y'all punished that young man because of Deion Sanders and the beef you have with Deion Sanders. Y'all punished him because his father is vocal in his life. But you didn't punish Eli Manning when his father was vocal in his life. Archie Manning literally told the team that drafted him, the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers, if you draft my son, he will not play for you. And he didn't, and they traded him to the Giants. But now Deion Sanders, who happens to be in his son's life, who happens to be influential, who happens to be one of the greatest football players ever, and I'm not even a Sanders fan. Y'all know I've critiqued him, who happens to have turned around a college team in Colorado, 2 college teams. Y'all holding it against us, and y'all doing this shit because y'all putting what y'all feel Deion Sanders would be on him. But it's okay. He'll prove himself.
Yeah, he got to go in the second round. Like somebody's going to scoop him up.
Somebody is going to scoop him up.
At a cheaper price, too. It'll be because after the first round,
be a cheaper price.
It's a cheaper price.
But he don't need the money. He don't need the money.
Top dollar. But then he have demands. I think him and Deion was saying what they not going to do. Sometimes that can play a part too. Before you get drafted, telling teams, yo, what we not going to do is this. Well, then again, Travis Hunter said he wasn't going to. I want to play both sides of the ball. And he had his demands. And I was looking at Travis Hunter. Y'all know he was in the news, and his girlfriend, she was right there with him. And apparently they get married next month. So they made that announcement that Travis Hunter, everybody was giving that girl grief. They getting married and moving on. So yeah, that was a good little NFL draft night last night.
That's gonna be the death of him. They never seen Jalen Hurts there. That's gonna be the death of him. Jalen Hurts is the let me. Can I make an announcement? Can I make an announcement right now? Can I make? Can I make an announcement right now?
There's facts about that Jalen Hurts.
That is exactly facts about Jalen Hurts. Can I make an announcement right now?
Go for it.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm gonna do something that football fans don't do. Don't ever do, because you're not allowed to do this. You pick a team, you stay with a team. Jalen Hurts is my favorite football player in the NFL.
What the?
I will never root for him against the Giants. He's my favorite football player in the NFL.
Wow. This is a revelation. Let me put Jalen Hurts' comment back. Mike has never supported my squad to this degree to say somebody is his favorite player.
Jalen Hurts is the way Jalen, and this is why I tell y'all, my mindset is not sports. I use sports as my escape, like I did last night watching the Knicks. I'm not invested in these motherfuckers because they're not invested in me. So don't get it effed up. You are not ruining my day. I will be upset after a game for 10 minutes, and then trust me, I just go about my business. The Knicks lost against Detroit a few nights ago. Okay, just went about my business. I enjoyed the game. The way Jalen Hurts handles his business, his demeanor, that man is the epitome of being a grown-ass man all the time. You will never get him out of his composure. You'll never knock him off his block. You AJ Brown could be acting up on the sidelines. That man does not change his demeanor. He don't care. Jalen Hurts lets everybody know, I lead this team. I don't care what you think. I will get the ball to you when I get the ball to you. The media, this horrible media in Philadelphia can destroy me. And after I've taken you to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and won one, and y'all got the nerve to still question what I do. And when that man came out and said, that's what y'all wanted at the press conference, that's what y'all wanted.
That's what y'all wanted.
And kept it at that and kept it moving.
Okay, man.
On low key, the man just got married. The man got his team, a black woman that worked
all
for him.
women. Yeah.
The man keeps it right. The man don't got a 50,000 square foot house.
Nah, he said I don't need all that. It's just me and this California king. I don't need all these. I don't need 8 bedrooms. I don't need all this.
I don't need all that. I don't need to be at Diddy parties. I don't need all that.
I want to go work out.
And I admire that. So I'm going to keep it at that. I want that man to succeed every time until he plays the Giants.
Good morning, Donna Clark.
Good morning, Donna Clark. How you doing there, girl? High school friend. All right. What we want to get to? Stupid dummy, FBI. You know what? Let me see the
man. He's very humble. All right, what you got first?
And I don't even think he's humble. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think he's not humble. I just think he knows y'all not getting me caught up in this matrix. Y'all not gassing me up just to break me down. I'm not going back and forth with you on Twitter. I'm not going back and forth with none of that. Oh, and I told you I have a lot of texting. Do I have? Oh, that one didn't show up. All right, so that one I had a problem with. Just for the hell of it. All right, let's get to the FBI agent. Cop pulls over a black man. Totally disrespectful, Jay. Disrespectful from the jump. He don't know he just pulled over an FBI agent.
He came in hot. Okay.
He came in cocky. He did he just got married. It was on the news 2 days ago on an island, very secretive, calm, and I'm sure beautiful. Just another example of him being a whole man. Character counts. Asha, you already know. Asha, you didn't remind me. I got your hot sauce in there. I got to tell a story about that hot sauce that Asha has got going on. You forgot to give me the thumbs up. Mike and Jay Black, what do you think about the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't.
To do with Dak Prescott?
I don't think anything.
It ain't Dak Prescott's fault.
Their squad is just horrible.
It wasn't Tony Romo's fault. Dog, you can't have a team with Dak, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and tell me you can't. But that's your fault. Yeah, and that's not your fault, Trent. That's that old man's fault up there thinking he's a general manager. He's not. But okay, let me get to this. Let's bring Aaron Smith on.
Let's bring him on there now. Okay.
Yeah, he'll enjoy this.
Turn the phone to the side. Turn it to the side first. We get that full. There we go. The doctor, the professor.
He froze.
Give him all his credit.
There you go.
I think Temple University's own.
Hey, Doc, you and your 12 different degrees.
Hey, can you hear me good?
We can hear you. Can you hear us? You can hear us?
Yep, sound good.
All right.
All right. So, Doc, you're not in the office today? What's up? What's going on? You in the streets? What's going on?
Not yet. It's funny because whenever I'm home, people think something's wrong. They be like, "Yo, you got a house?
You got fired? You got what happened? Why you in at the game?"
Well, no, I'm only there till June, so I'm definitely going in today because I'm going in all the days I can. I only got a few days left.
Yeah, you only have a few days left.
That's
So
breaking
you
news.
stood on that.
Yeah, no, I'll be there later today, definitely. But what
So,
y'all
but
talking about?
we're
Yeah, he don't want
talking
to talk. I
about
don't know
okay,
who
yeah.
we're talking about it later.
So
Man,
I got a clip for you. So Doc, they we always see the TikTok videos of the cops doing something to somebody, and then the caption would be this cop was fired because of this. But we never see the actual paybacks. We never get to see somebody actually, like, we'll always see what they did wrong. But we never get to see an ultimate end of the story, right? We never get to see the judge or the person saying you're fired, or we never get to see them emptying their desk. Well, we got to see in live time a crooked cop be humbled in his face. And it all started because he did not know the person he pulled over and the person he was about to profile and the person he was about to harass was an FBI agent.
Oh,
a black FBI agent. So I'm going to play this. There's a little delay. When you talk about, hold on, I'm going to play this. Listen, everybody, hey, for the first time, enjoy justice. In this little way, enjoy justice.
This arrogant police officer didn't know he had pulled over an FBI agent. The cop treated him disgustingly by making fun of him, but when he realized what he had done, it was already late.
I need you to open all the windows for me right now. You want me to make your life difficult? Because I love making people's lives difficult. Really? There you go. I just did that. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Okay, so license, registration, proof of insurance. You call your supervisor? Oh, there's no supervisor. There's no supervisor? No. Hey, put your hands up there.
I got a gun on my side.
Okay, where's the gun?
On my right here.
For my safety and your safety, we're gonna do this today, okay? You have a license to carry?
We're in Florida, right?
But do you have a shot?
I sure enough do.
Okay. Hey, buddy.
It's around my neck.
It's called a concealed carry permit.
Listen, my license is around my neck.
Oh.
I carry it around my neck.
What is this? Is this fake? A lot of people like to act like they're cops.
Federal agent.
Oh, right. Where's the ID? Do me a favor.
Federal agent.
Okay.
So now my badge don't even make a
difference. Lean against
difference.
the car. So you're a cop. So why wouldn't you tell me? You been drinking today?
Drinking, sir. We don't drink.
I smell alcohol emanating from the vehicle.
Actually, we're doing an investigation on. You didn't call your sergeant here neither. So the things that we supposed to do here, right?
Okay. Well, you could have just identified yourself.
When I showed you my badge and you grabbed my badge, you still didn't believe it was real.
Because people impersonate officers all the time.
I'll make sure when I see your sergeant.
Well, we don't have to go that far.
No, we won't. We'll go farther than that. We'll make sure we talk to the. We'll make sure to do a lot of things on this. I'm pretty sure you probably have other offenses against you. But you have a nice day.
Listen.
I appreciate you, sir.
Listen.
Sir, I appreciate you.
You know you done effed up, right? You know.
Did you hear the cop say "fuck" at the end?
You know you done messed up.
The shift in the voice. Yeah, even when he tapped his chest after he realized the badge was real. I'm actually considering going to law school just to be the wrong black guy. Not just to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
Not just to stay alive, not just to protect my children and all that, my family, and provide pro bono services for my friends and family. But one of the reasons why I'm seriously considering going to law school is eventually they're going to pull me over. It'll happen again. I'm going to fit a description. The car will be too nice. Somebody will just be bored. I just really want to be the wrong guy. That's the best you can get as a black guy, is to make sure when they do it, they got the wrong guy. Because they're going to do it. But you got to make sure that when they do it, they effed up.
So, listen, that made my heart happy. That made my heart happy watching somebody be able to stand up and actually. I have more videos of happy times, and they're not happy times. That's how bad this country is. We got to find happiness.
Yeah, we do. We happy that he happy he survived.
That he survived.
He didn't get beat up and arrested and killed.
We're happy that he was forced to fight back against something unjust. We're happy that he was able to do it, the wrong one, the right one at the same time.
Yeah, you want. Yeah, I get
that. He got treated the way everybody should be treated. That's what we're happy about. We're happy because he got treated like a human being instead of the way he was gonna be treated if he didn't have the credentials to be treated like a human being. Because just being a human being was not enough.
That happened to Cypher.
Any of us would not have got that treatment.
Cypher shared the story before. I think it was off. I don't know. But yeah, he said it happened to him. He's a cop. So imagine the cop pulling another cop over. And then you don't realize.
There's something interesting that I can share with you, and I'm glad you were talking about this topic. No spoilers at all, But I went to see Sinners last night. You know, it's a big phenomenon now. Everybody's talking about this movie Sinners, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to talk about the movie at all. Not going to blow anything for the listeners. Keep listening. I'm not a spoiler. But I also watched Magazine Dreams. I don't know if you saw that.
No, Magazine Dreams. Okay, I'm writing it down. Is that in the theaters or is that streaming?
Well, I'm not gonna say where I saw it because no, but it's online. It's online too. But what's the brother's name? You know, the one that just got off for being in trouble.
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, Magazine Dreams, and there's also a thread of this in Sinners where there's this tragic underlining theme of no matter what you do, even you can throw Shannon Sharp in there. No matter what you do, you can throw Diddy in there. No matter what you do, you're not going to win. I think that Eddie Griffith said you always have an asterisk. All the black people have an asterisk. Black men. I don't care if it's Kobe Bryant, or Jordan with the gambling, the son, whatever you think you're doing, no matter how good you think you are, how far you think you've made it. I don't care if it's Will Smith smacking somebody. It's like a game of Chutes and Ladders. I know y'all know that game, Chutes and Ladders, right?
Yeah.
It's like a game of Chutes and Ladders with all of the chutes going all the way back to start and all the ladders being broken. So even if you figure out a way to finally climb to the top, I'm talking about the slightest infraction, the slightest evidence of humanity. If you are flawed in any way, you can go all the way back to start as a black man in America. And it's just funny because I'm thinking, wow, I would really have to get all these degrees and have all these credentials and have a license to carry just so they wouldn't beat me up, kill me, or mock me when I wanted to exercise or invoke my constitutional rights. That's the tragedy of being a black man in America. And I'm a man with degrees, and I still realize this, that any false move, any mistake, and matter of fact, any humanity in terms of the natural proclivity to be attracted to women. Because if somebody just says, I was uncomfortable, I can lose everything. Morgan Freeman almost lost everything when he made a joke, and they found out he wasn't even making the joke they thought he was, because the lady said I was pregnant. He said, I wish I was there, and they tried to make that sexual. Later on, they said that it wasn't sexual, and that the girl who started pushing the story was the same one who was claiming to be a victim. So all it takes now is somebody to say, he made a pass at me. Back in the day, that's how you realize if somebody liked you or not. You had to show some initiative, step out there. There's movies where people are leaning in for a kiss even, But nowadays, if you are just attracted to women and you display that attraction to the wrong person, I'm not talking about touching or saying anything vulgar. I'm saying just basically making what would be known as, for the last 2,000 years, an advance. I felt uncomfortable. You're weird. That was creepy. You're done. 2 people say that, your career could be half of what it was just yesterday. Jonathan Majors was running down the street for blocks away from this woman. The only thing he didn't do was flail his hands and start screaming like ah! That's all he could have done. All he had left was the ah! He did everything but that. Every emasculating thing he could do, he ran away from this white woman for 3 blocks. He left her in the apartment, drunk, in the closet, and he locked the door, and he called the cops, and he still lost it all. And I just thought about that when I was watching the video, how this is a real theme because black men have no hashtag.
Hey, Doc, and this is the no segue zone, but when you said that, I've always been the type, I don't have a type. People claim my daughter even says I have a type. But I've never been against dating anybody outside my race. Technically, it's not outside my race, but people who don't know will think, as a Puerto Rican, me dating black women my entire life. But it's not. But technically, society would say, is it wrong now when you make that statement about Jonathan Majors? Is it wrong for Dr. Umar to say, and I don't agree with a lot of what Dr. Umar says, but in the more cases that you see throughout history, is it wrong if you're a black man and you have a black son to say stay away from white women?
Well, as a parent, I don't tell any parent what's wrong for a parent. Unless you're abusing the child. If you just saying if you're parenting the way you choose to parent,
right?
Because honestly, there's people who don't like people eating meat. There's people who don't like smoking around kids. Like, if you're a parent, you're an adult. That's your child. If you're not like blowing the smoke in the child's face, you're like, honestly, the more that I get experience being a parent, the less I want anybody to tell me how to do it. And that's real. The longer I'm a parent, and I know how hard it is, and like nobody's perfect. And hey, bro, I love the child. I'm doing everything I can. If there's something really dangerous, I'll take the advice. But I do understand. I will say that, especially as a historian. If you look, I think the Malcolm X movie said it best when he was sitting in the drop top with the white girl. He said, "When you gonna cry rape, sister?" So it's not about her or him or their interaction or relationship or her trustworthiness. It's that they live in a society where even if she just gets mad one day, she can, at her white tears behest, bring on the whole wrath of the state with a false statement that can cost him his life. And even if they find out she's lying later like Emmett Till, she won't be indicted. And when you set the standards that way, when you make things lack accountability and make them so consequential for some people and so inconsequential for others, false allegations need to be tried like the allegations would have been tried. I'm going to always say this till the day I die. If you accuse me of murder and you made it up and you lied, and then we find out that you knew I didn't, and you should go to jail for the same amount of time.
Agreed.
If you say, "Oh, he raped me," and you're on tape saying, "Well, I know you didn't even touch me," but you should go to jail. All of this, like, that's not how it works. And, oh, they got proven to be lying, but it's okay. The fact that that is the way it is makes a relationship extremely toxic and problematic at its root, because everybody has moments in a relationship where they're at odds. And I can't have the ability to just bring people with guns to the house who just might kill you, beat you up, or arrest you when I'm doing the exact same thing to you that you're doing to me. If I'm jumping in your face and I'm charging at you and I'm cutting your clothes and I'm slashing your tires and all these things that Jasmine Sullivan and everybody sings about and Wait and Exhale brags about, blowing up cars, then yes, if you charge me physically, I'm going to grab you. If you have a weapon in your hand, I might just push you back. Knowing that that means I go to jail. You charge me with a weapon, I grab you, I go to jail. They don't ask you what you had in your hand. They don't ask you who started it. Don't let you have a mark on you. It's a wrap. Every man knows this. So it's hard enough just dating, period. I'm not going to add to that the racial component and have it so people who are in law enforcement who never want black men touching white women ever. And you saw those 2 black guys that just got killed in New York, right, by the corrections officers, beat to death. This is 2025. They've beaten brothers to death in groups. 7 people, 8 people. The one had 10 people. That means no semblance of humanity or justice anywhere. They all have the power to chain you again. Think about this. Like, think about black people's historical context in terms of cultural sensitivity. Can you imagine somebody saying, "I'm going to take your Jewish behind, I'm going to put you in an oven"? Whoa! "I'm going to take your Japanese behind and put you in a can." Whoa! But every day, they'll take black people and put them back in chains. It hits different. It hits different for people who have been in chains for 260 years. But they don't care. They still bring the horses. They still bring the chains because there's no cultural sensitivity. So there's already a difference in the experience. You getting locked up ain't the same as me getting locked up. I'm getting taken back. So knowing that you can just kill me and nothing's going to happen to you, because this woman could just lie on me and nothing's going to happen to her in a society where white supremacy and racism are still, like, ruling, I would advise my son to tread very carefully. I would never forbid, because if somebody legitimately falls in love, I never want them to feel bad about introducing them to their parents or anything like that. But I would want my son to be conscious, because a lot of times, and I met a lot of people that date outside their race, and there is a correlation between lacking historical consciousness and dating outside your race, the propensity. Not every time, it's not everything, but more than likely, they're less involved with the history I'm describing when they're more likely to date outside their race, especially when it comes to white women. Just the way that this is what I've observed.
Let me get your comments, and I want before I'm going to play this clip, but I want to make sure it might be the wrong clip. I played it a while ago, and there's certain things that I'll play, and I'll be like, "Damn, I want to see what Dr. Aaron," and this might not be the right one. Let me see if I got it.
Black leaders because they had some moral awakening. They stopped because they didn't need to anymore. Once they wiped out the radicals, Malcolm, MLK, Fred Hampton, all of them, the revolution got cut off at the knees. After that, why waste a bullet when you can just kill a movement before it even starts? By the 80s, they swapped out black power for black profit. They handed out a few golden tickets, made sure there were just enough rich and famous black faces to sell the idea that the system works. Instead of liberation, they handed out contracts, endorsements, executive positions. Instead of black power, they gave them black excellence. And look, ain't nobody saying black folks shouldn't be successful. But success inside the system is not the same as dismantling it. They let a few through the gates just as long as they played by the rules. And those rules stay in line. Talk about personal success, not collective struggle. Build a brand, not a movement. They don't gotta assassinate anyone when they can just buy them out. Or better yet, turn them into a joke. Look at what they did to Colin Kaepernick. Stood up for something, got blackballed out of the league. Angela Davis spent decades on FBI watch lists. Fred Hampton, they learned their lesson from him. Don't let him get big enough to matter in the first place. So now, they just lock them up before they can get too loud. Call them terrorists, call them extremists, turn them into a headline, a mugshot, a social media circus. And for the rest, they dangle the American dream in front of them like a carrot. Work hard, climb the ladder, keep your head down, but for whose dream? Black median wealth is projected to be zero by 2053. They never fixed redlining, they just rebranded it as gentrification. They never ended Jim Crow, they just turned it into mass incarceration. More black men in prison today than there were enslaved in 1860. That ain't a coincidence, that is by design. But the thing is, this ain't just about race. Yeah, black folks got the worst of it, but they ain't the only ones caught in this machine. They keep everybody distracted. Working class whites, Latinos, immigrants, poor folks of every shade, fighting each other while the real power stays untouched. They convinced half the country that a CEO with their skin color is their ally, while their own neighbor is the enemy. Divide and conquer, same as always. So the real question ain't what happened to the movement, it's how do we bring it back? Because if they don't have to kill revolutionaries anymore, that means we already lost once. And winning again? That ain't gonna look comfortable. It ain't gonna look polite. The next wave of revolutionaries are gonna seem too much at first. Too radical, too angry, too unwilling to compromise. But that's the only way to go forward. The civil rights movement was called extreme in its time. The labor movement was called un-American. Every fight for freedom has been smeared before it's been won. So what's it going to take? Because if history's got anything to teach us, it's that nothing changes till people get real uncomfortable. The system don't break itself. The question is, are we ready to break it? Go.
I know there's a lot there. And I actually started one of my shows and I played that entire thing. And I know everybody's got Instagram mentality where they can't hang in for 2 minutes and people think 2 minutes, but I just felt it necessary to start the show and play that whole thing. Your thoughts on whatever parts you would like to touch on about what he said?
Well, I'll give you a reference, and the audience can get a great reference to correlate with everything the gentleman was saying. And if they're familiar with the movie Judas and the Black Messiah that was based on Fred Hampton's life that they recently released about a year or so ago, there's a document that you could look online. You could type in FBI Black Messiah document, COINTELPRO program, Black nationalist hate groups. Any of these things will bring up the document, even on Google Images. But it's from March 4th of 1968. Counterintelligence program, Black nationalist hate groups, racial intelligence. And it says, for maximum effectiveness of the counterintelligence program and to prevent wasted effort, long-range goals are being set. Now you have to think, this is government money, taxpayer money, the same money that was going to feed the dogs that they sicked on the grandmothers and the children, the same money that was used for tax dollars that was funding the fire department when they sprayed us with hoses, the same tax dollars that we worked for that contributed to the police that were beating us over the head. We have more of our tax dollars now that we're talking about our supply chain and how much we're beholden to China. And you had a head start. You had a 260-year head start, but instead of using that head start, you wanted to use your your domestic, your National Guard to help Ruby Bridges go to school because people couldn't stop spitting on her and throwing rocks, and they couldn't stop bombing churches and blowing little girls up, and they wanted to spend the money to stop the women's movement, the gay rights movement, the Indian movement, the Black Power movement. Instead of making sure we could secure our borders and be the best nation in the world, they were willing to risk it all and give it all up, just like this last voting cycle during this presidential election. They will vote outside their interests and side with race over everything. So basically, the long-term goals, I'll skip through it to make sure I can, adhere to the TikTok, attention span you were talking about.
No, you go.
But it says, prevent coalition of militant Black nationalist groups. In unity, there's strength, right? They said that would be the first step toward a real Mau revolution in America. Most people in America have no idea what the Mau revolution was. Meanwhile, they're so fixated on this Mau revolution that they said this is the standard that we need to prevent in America, because it's MAU. The Maus, if you look at pictures of them, they look like some no-nonsense Black men. They looked all masculine, all warrior, no games, no compromise, and it struck fear in the hearts of white people in America, even though they weren't even in the country. Right? So they were like, if these Black nationalist groups get together, we might have a Mau revolution here. Number 2 was to prevent the rise of a Black Messiah who could unify and electrify militant Black nationalist groups. They named 3 people who they thought could fill that role. It was Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, 4, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad. They said Elijah Muhammad was too old. They said Dr. King was too in the establishment and they would have to give up nonviolence. They said that Malcolm X could have been such a leader, but he had died, this is 68 at the time after Malcolm's assassination. They said, but Stokely Carmichael had the charisma and the youth and the political awareness that he could lead this kind of revolution. So basically, watch out for him. What that teaches people is, before you even realize your own potential, people are looking at you, Meek Mill. People are looking at you, Tupac. People are looking at you knowing that if you ever wake up, not that you're woke, not that you're militant, not that you're political. They're sitting together like, yo, which one of these niggas, if they got their stuff together, could be a problem for us? So you have to realize that when people start getting all these scandals and Instagram models, and prevent violence on the part of Black national groups. Every time somebody gets killed, the reporter says, oh, what are your thoughts? It's going to be nonviolent. I heard about your protests. It's going to be nonviolent, right? This was in 1968, 57 years ago. The government was making sure that no matter what we did, we didn't become violent. This is the one that deals directly with what the gentleman was talking about. Number 4, prevent the nationalist groups. I don't care if you're talking about the new Black Panthers or Umar Johnson with the school and all the hate he be getting. Prevent Black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability. 57 years ago, when Umar go get their school, you always know the hate line, because they promote that to everybody. I heard a Muslim killed Malcolm X. I heard he was a Nation of Islam. Prevent Black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to 3 separate segments of the community. The goal of discrediting nationalist groups must be handled tactily in 3 ways. You must discredit those groups and individuals, first to the responsible Negro community. Second, they must be discredited to the white community, both respectable and the liberals. It said, third, these groups must be discredited in the eyes of Negro radicals. So you got to be bad in the streets and bad in the mainstream. They're going to make sure they dismiss. So when you see these stories coming out, 2 things could be true. Martin Luther King could be a great leader and also could have had great after parties. So don't think that somebody's not targeted just because they did it. Oh, I got to say that one more time because somebody did not like the fact that I said it, and it's true. Just because they did it doesn't mean they're not being targeted. There was a politician named Anthony Weiner, no pun intended. He got caught with pictures on his phone. You think that's the first time they knew he was a creep? You think he was 60 years old and nobody that worked with him for 30 years knew he was a creep? It came out at the right time for the right purpose. Let's be clear. When these stories come out, you think they didn't know who was on Epstein's flights? You think they didn't know who was at the parties? You think Diddy's parties weren't? Nobody knew. People know, and they picked the right time to leverage things. So 2 things could be true. Nobody's caping. It's not a conspiracy theory. He could literally have been an after party thrower, a target of government, plots, and also been, infidelity master. All those things happened at the same time. So just because somebody says they out to get Bill Cosby, they out to get R. Kelly, it doesn't mean they didn't do what they're accused of doing. Both can be true, but it takes a sophisticated, nuanced mind to appreciate and hold two thoughts at the same time. We can walk and chew gum. So we need to realize that sometimes when these people are getting, we need to ask why now. It's not so much about whether they did he do it. It's why now. Especially if they've been doing it publicly in terms of, did he? And this whole notion of now they're criminalizing normal behavior. Back in the day after slavery, they say vagrancy laws. You're hanging out. You ain't got no papers. You stole a pig. You said a curse word. You ain't got no job, right? There are all these reasons. They started to criminalize normal behavior that was never criminalized when black people were on plantations. The same thing's happening today. Once weed was legalized, I said a long time ago, they're going to start criminalizing things that weren't criminal before. They've always been able to get to driving, but now you're seeing all these regular things like being a freak. A lot of things they're saying about Diddy is just freaky stuff. Yeah, he made me come over the studio 16 times and he forced himself into my mouth. Wait, bro. I'm not an Instagram model. I've never had nobody in my mouth like that. But I have teeth and I know how to close and open my mouth. So every time I hear these stories like, yeah, the fourth time it happened, he forced himself into my mouth. You're a grown man. Like, what are we talking? A lot of things we're hearing about Diddy, not to sound like Ray J, is just a dude that has what most people would consider eclectic, eccentric, extreme sexual proclivities. He's out there with his. He likes to watch. He likes to do this. He likes the men and the women. He likes to coerce people. There's really not a lot in criminal code. There's not a lot of statutes and laws that say you can't be out here wilding and partying and really even leveraging power, especially if they're not like working there. Like,
so Mike, can you
but
read
now
these
they're doing that because that's
let me read these comments.
Read these four and then get Dr. Smith's opinion.
Cypher says, I'm tired. Cypher says, I'm tired of hearing of black people are victims by everybody else. Can we talk about black on black violence? Can we talk about how we put ourselves in prison and how we put ourselves in prison? All right.
No, that was the second one.
We can't have any type of movement when we're killing each other. Black lives only matter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Black lives only matter when the cops do it. We've had black cops killed by other black men, i.e. Moses Walker, Robert Wilson.
And Lady Q responded.
Cypher, Lady Q responds to Cypher. Cypher, stop it. We can talk about black on black crime when the media labels white folks killing other white folks white on white crime. And then Lady Q says, we talk about how deep the pipeline from school to prison is embedded in society. You want to look at the end result of a black person going to jail, but want to jump over the systematic nature.
Dr. Smith?
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm reading a document from 1968. That's like the height of civil rights. If they were doing it then, they say the cause has to precede the effect in time. You can't say things are happening cause of something that happened in Chicago in the 90s or the 2000s or because of rap music in the 1970s. I'm saying this was happening in the 60s. This was happening in the 20s with Jim Crow. This was happening during lynching. This happened during redlining. This happened during Black Social Security and the GI Bill. This like, why would you think that black people caused something that's been happening to black people 300 years before black people even had the right to vote and was fully enfranchised as citizens? It's just totally irrational and illogical in terms of the chronology of the reality of oppression. They started this. They went and brought these people. They created these systems. They built these jails. They wrote these laws. They lynched these people. They raped these people. They separated these people from their families. They denied these people access. When the people did build their own towns, they burned them down and buried them under lakes. When they built up their own communities, they ran freeways through them from Harlem to North Carolina. What part of that story do you think King Vaughn plays? Like, really? You got to think about individuals versus institutions. There could be some wild Negroes out in the street, but I remember an FBI agent giving a lecture, and he literally said, if we wanted to, we can stop, kill, or arrest every drug dealer in America in one night. He said, we have the intel and the capabilities. He said, when they go to the pay phones and to make their phone calls for their drop, it goes to a satellite that the government owns. You think you're being slick, talking in code, or back in the day, going to the payphone. You got it with these cell phones. It goes to they own the lines. They like it was a black FBI agent just basically laughing, saying, "We know who sells drugs. We know who runs guns. We know where they are."
Do you know? And
If we
Dr.
wanted
Slip,
to just go get,
I want to read this comment for a second, but I want to say systematically, I get what Cypher's saying, and I get what you're saying, and I think, and
I don't,
I'm
because he's saying white people, but the delineation has to be individuals versus institutions.
no,
It doesn't matter what color they are. But I'm saying that's what the listener needs to understand. It could be all black people, because in places like Rhodesia, Mike, there's situations where, even in Haiti for a while, there's situations where black people took over, ran white people out, and kept the same systems in place and started exploiting people and operate according to class and sometimes even a caste, whether it's Dominican Republic in Haiti or even in India. Like, there could be a bunch of brown people exploiting each other. This is not about black and white. Only people want to center whiteness and kiss up to whiteness and are dislocated by whiteness and don't know about their own black history that would help them to see people as human beings in the first place and delineate between institutions and individuals, make these kind of comments. If everybody was black, institutions are far more important than individuals. Wake up. And the institutions are run by a certain group of people.
And that's what I'm saying. What
If every black person in the world behaved the way he's talking about, it wouldn't change the institutions a bit. So it's dumb to talk about something that's never gonna.
So my question, this is what I mean when I say critical thinking is something that the government has tried to stop. Critical thinking, being able to think about what you just said, the institution above us, but then also think about the people on the streets. My question, and I think Cypher, being when you watch,
you Cypher, if you want to pop on, go ahead.
When you watch young black people and Latino people kill each other, there's an institution that has created an environment, for lack of a better term. My question is, if there's even an answer, how do we educate us to understand that the institution has something to do with us killing each other? How do we get to, as a cop being on the streets, how do we get to the point? Is it a movement that has to happen?
No, you explain it in ways that everybody can understand. Have you ever played musical chairs?
Yes.
I don't know if you delayed. Have y'all played musical chairs, right?
You have a delay. So yes, go ahead.
My bad. Have you ever been to the opera or the Broadway shows, or even like a basketball game?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everybody has an assigned seat at those events. The second group I named. The reason why musical chairs is so adversarial is because people recognize from the moment that even before the music starts playing, there's not enough for everybody. And human nature dictates when there's not enough for everybody, people take an adversarial posture and they don't cooperate with each other because there's not enough to share in most people's minds based on the design of the game. So you don't get mad at grandma that you just knocked over at the family reunion because you're trying to win, even though there's no real prize. You recognize and realize the design of the game, and you say, who put 5 chairs out for 8 people? Who's the maniacal, wicked, master, clever devil that is playing this music in the first place? Who's behind the curtain playing the music? Who put out these chairs? You don't get mad at the guy who's pushing you back for a chair when there's not enough for everybody. The reason why the opera don't have no fights is because everybody has a seat. You want to stop the fights, make sure everybody has a seat. Change the system, you change the behavior.
Damn. That's a dope analogy.
So
all you do is play a child's game, you get it.
So
I used to work at the nursery, Mike. While I worked at the nursery, I would give out the cookies to the kids in the high chair. This is even better. Before the kids knew how to talk, Mike, I'm talking about like months old, in the high chair, knock, 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 right? If they saw you give one child 2 cookies and another child got 1 cookie, the child would not be happy with their 1 cookie. Even before they learned to read words, Mike, they could read unfairness and injustice. They would push their own cookie, burn down their own community. They would act out based on the injustice. They wouldn't just eat their cookie and then act out. They would act out, break the high chair if they could, knock things over, and disrupt because they wanted justice. Something in their spirit, before they even knew how to speak, said if things ain't right, no justice, no peace. So if you want peace, try justice. Now, after you try justice, and you still see a different story. But we was getting lynched in our military uniforms, genius. We was getting lynched in 3-piece suits, respectability politics. So don't play with me and act like if we just acted different, we'd be treated different. We was dying for this country and they still spit on us and hung us and castrated us. We worked for free for 260 years and they were still raping our wives and children and cutting our feet off and using our skin as leather. You're going to talk to a historian in 2025. If we just act better, if we just act a little better. No, if you just read a little more and studied and was realistic about the history of our people, then you think differently. The academy don't teach you that.
How would the institution being the institution being what it is, the system being what it is, how do we make our neighborhoods safer for us to reside in?
For me, the first step is like the art of war. Know your enemy. These same COINTELPRO documents literally say, I kid you not, I might be able to look it up before I get off here today. When the US organization led by Maulana Karenga, who was a founder of Kwanzaa, was having beef with the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense out of New York City, at one point led by Afeni Shakur later, right? When those two black groups were beefing, they were not aware that the COINTELPRO FBI division had a special initiative. And you know what they called it, Mike?
What?
East versus West. East versus West, like Vibe magazine in the 90s. In the 60s, the COINTELPRO documents, they would take letterhead from the hotels they were staying in. They would have people study other people's handwriting and pretend that they discovered some secret document with a plan to attack the other group. And they'd use an agent provocateur, somebody that they embedded in the organization, right? And say, yo, Mike, look what I found, Mike. The Hot Boys said they're going to ride on you tonight at Evolutions. Look, that's Pooch Man handwriting right there, Mike. Yo, I think we should strap up, man. So I'm provoking you. I'm an agent provocateur. I'm not only an agent, but I'm going to be the one to say, I'll bring the guns tonight, Mike. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure you good, man. I might even fire the first shot and then we all get arrested, but I get let off because I'm an agent. So them not knowing that is why at one point on the campus of UCLA, Bunchy Carter, another brother from the Black Panthers and the US organization, they got to a shootout and 2 people died. If they had known that they were being manipulated, if they had known that there were agents among them, that would have been the first step. The difference between the YNs and people like Bobby Hutton, the first person to join the Black Panther Party, who was 17, is the OGs and the structure of the community. The reason why Bobby Shmurda says I've been selling crack since like the 5th grade is because we know what the 80s was like. The environment is what dictated the difference between Bobby Shmurda and Bobby Hutton. If you've ever been in a psychology lab where you do the mouse with the cheese, if I create the maze and I put the cheese on one side, 9 times out of 10, the mouse is going to go where I put the cheese through the maze that I constructed. Nobody's going to be like, yo, man, that mouse got to change its behavior. They're going to be like, yo, change up the maze. Put cheese on both sides.
Now, everything you said, I understand. To my level of intellect. If they would have known the East-West plan that an agent was manipulating this situation, if we know that now, my question once again, how do we make our living conditions safer for us?
I think we need to start really recognizing that when things work, they don't stop. Programs that work, people don't stop doing them. And when we hear these stories, I listen to Breakfast Club and everybody all the time, they never talk about these things as a potential government attack. If they've been doing this for 57 years, discrediting black people, right? And every black person you think of, like, yeah, when people get to a certain level, they do have a scandal. It's like, why don't we, when we're faced with a very successful black person with a major scandal that's widely promoted, and we know from music, some albums get pushed, some albums don't. Some of these scandals got more rotation than a new Drake album. Mm-hmm. Whoever's pushing Shannon Sharp's story needs to push Drake's next album. Because they are making sure everybody gets that story 24/7. I don't even think Shannon Sharp was that important to the culture before this story. He's a big deal, but I didn't think he was this big. But I see when there's a machine, we've seen artists with no talent get pushed. We know the difference. Sometimes we're like, this is organic. This is just people like it, not like us. But this song over here, this artist, this Tekashi 6ix9ine with 30 million views in 24 hours, this something ain't feeling right. And I think part of it is just having the awareness of what's against us, because then we could have that Mau revolution that they feared. That we can have Elon Musk say 71% he lost in one month. Target's losing billions. We're not going out and marching with you, because those are first steps. Recognizing who's not your friends and when you're being exploited and when you're in danger, those are the first steps. It's not pulling up your pants. Pulling up your pants is like step 6. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, but I think that's the first step, because a lot of people don't realize how the institution of policing supersedes whether you want to be a good cop or not. For example, I'm a good teacher. For me to maintain my status as a good teacher, I have to tell on any teacher abusing children. If I see a child on a teacher's lap and I walk past, or I joke about it, or I make a video and post it, and I get fired too, I can be arrested too. Only police officers have this Catholic priest mentality where they think they can be good as an individual in a completely corrupt, abusive, exploitative, and brutal institution. If you're good, you probably shouldn't be there, or you should be a change agent.
So being aware is one thing, because I'm trying to get to the point of what steps we have to take.
Reparations, that's the first step. Reparations.
But what steps can we take on the front line? You're in these
We need to fight for reparations. We do. There's something called the Marshall Plan. It's the European Recovery Act. But Dr. King talked about it. He said they were willing to undergird their peasant brothers from Europe with the economic floor when the black man was being told to pick himself up by his bootstraps. That meant that Europe was so destitute that they needed billions of dollars. European Recovery Act. America didn't give money to black people, gave it to Europe because Europe needed a bailout. They didn't say, how should the European people act? They didn't say, how should the bankers act when they did the bank bailout? They said, we got to do a massive infusion of money, stop the bleeding, too big to fail. Then after that, even then, they didn't put regulations and the people just gave it away as bonuses. But they knew they got to get to the root of the problem. You want to get to the truth? Get to the root. Can't prune a problem. If you have a sick root of a plant, you have to get to the root. If you just clip off the flowers, it's going to keep producing rotten flowers and rotten fruit. You have to get to the root. If me and you got a problem, Mike, and you bump into me and I say, watch where you're going, and we start arguing about how big the hallway is, come on, man. Me and you had an issue that we should have been talking about. We ain't talking about it, but now that you bumped me, we talking about the bumping. Let's just move the bumping to the side and talk about the fact that Mike stole your girl in high school, Aaron, when that's something like, what's the real issue? That's what I'm saying. When we talk about race and oppression and racism, we don't talk about the real issue. The real issue ain't some kid that listened to some gangster rap song. The issue is, like even Nino Brown said, where all these guns come from? Who's making these laws that this is okay? Why is it only black people that can talk about murder on the radio and it be accepted? Why if I say murder a op, it's okay, but if I say murder a cop, I'm under FBI investigation? It's only one letter. And I can say murder an op for 20 years. If I say murder a cop one time, I lose my career.
So this is because I don't want to veer off, because there's a lot of things. Number one, you said fight for reparations, because my thing, and with the music, I'm going to sidebar. I'm not going to get into the music. We know what they're going to promote, and we sit in A&R offices and we make songs to appease them. So my problem is, but then you'll say the musical chairs, I know you're trying to get on, but when you get on the level of Jay-Z and everybody else, you would think they now have the power to say, I'm not going to bring that any more of that in here, because I do know the effects. But I know that's a long story. I want to get into this.
Mike, I was agreeing with you, and I was nodding the whole time up to like 3 years ago. Because I think part of what's been happening, especially with these black billionaires and millionaires, is to make sure that a message is sent, especially when Kanye started tripping. They want to make sure that black men best example, Kyrie Irving. They want to make sure that you don't ever think that you can achieve your way out of this hierarchy. It's us and it's you. We pay you to watch you play, to watch you sing and dance. If you ever get out of line, Kyrie, Bill Cosby, Russell, I think that there's been a concerted effort in the last few years to let black people and black men in particular know you're never too big to be our boy. So sometimes, I think Farrakhan said this about Obama, maybe he got so close to the evil that he wanted to make a change. But once he got in them rooms and gotten around some real power and saw the capabilities they have to Kennedy you, he fell back on a lot of what he wanted to do. So maybe Jay-Z might have had some plan to sit by the door. Maybe a lot of these people had a plan, but once they get in them rooms and they start seeing how powerful people could be destroyed by one scandal, and they're like, wow, Diddy had tapes, Epstein had tapes, everybody's recording everybody. It's like they're setting them up. It's like they're just getting blackmail on everybody just in case they get out of line. It's almost like it's by design.
But do you see the vicious cycle of it? When you
That's what Malcolm called it, a vicious cycle.
When the more you have, the more compromised you are. The more they give you, the more you get, the more compromised you are. So,
but part of it, Mike, is because it's structured that way.
Yeah, it's structured that
from
way.
the whole comedian thing with wearing a dress, right? The whole debate about all these things. There's a level of compromise at every level of achievement. In order for you to get this, in order for you to right? Everybody knows, whether it's athletics, whether it's even me, whether it's political speech. If I want to make it into certain rooms, there's certain things I can't say. There's certain groups I shouldn't be affiliated with, right? When they ask about the Nation of Islam, I can't tell my honest opinion because I'm going to always say something positive about the Nation of Islam. So I know there's only so high I can go. But I know the system and the structure is set up in a way that if I am true to myself and true to my community, there's only so far I will go. And at some point they will attack me. Hence why I want to change the system.
So changing the system and fighting for reparations is one thing. Number two, what are we going to do in raising the younger people who have the energy, but are being led down the same path that I was led down because they were things that I was influenced by, that I promoted, that I did a whole apology for promoting some of the ridiculous, detrimental things that I promoted. What are the steps to try? Here, I'll give you.
Let me get some practical steps before I forget, though. I want to get some practical steps because I see what you're asking, and I definitely want to give the practical steps. For me, practical steps. I always say that Black love is Black power. People in your family that you ain't been talking to in years, let's have those conversations before they transition. Let's do a lot better. I mean, Tupac said it best. Let's change the way we eat. Let's change the way we think. Let's change the way we treat each other. Because the old way wasn't working. So it's up to us to see no changes, right? He said that on that song Changes, right? He said, let's change the way we think, change the way we eat, change the way we treat each other. It's up to us, right? Me and you gotta do what we gotta do to survive, right? I agree with that. We gotta eat better. We gotta treat each other better. We gotta learn self-defense. I want to advocate for exercise our Second Amendment rights, right? Dave Chappelle made a joke about that. They want to change the gun laws. Every Black man go and get a license to carry, go get a gun. They'll change the laws because that's how the gun laws got enforced in the first place. But the way it looks to me, I compared it to building sandcastles on a road full of tanks. I'll give you an example. Harriet Tubman frees hundreds of slaves and then fights for the Union Army and dedicates her life, right? Running with a shotgun. Jackie Robinson gets court-martialed as a military man, but gets found not guilty by an all-white jury back in the day, right? And then says, I can't salute the flag and with good conscience, and breaks the color line, right? And all these things happen. Then in 2025, an orange man with hair plugs who lies about his height and weight and brags about sexually assaulting women and is a 34-time felon could just, because of the system, say, take that shit out that library. Sandcastle. 300 years of Black history. Here he comes with a pen, knocking ish over. The system has to change. Here I am, a Black intellectual academic. I've been spending the last 15, 20 years of my life reading, studying, and writing books. I started college 33 years ago. You know what happened like a month ago, Mike? They said, no, we ain't celebrating Black history. You can't bring it into schools. There's no DE&I. We got to change the system. I just spent 30 years trying to put together curriculum and books and ready to teach my people, and then the system could just say, no, not teaching it. Matter of fact, take it out the museum for the things that did happen. Erase their whole life's work. The system has to change. That's what I call pruning a problem. Yeah, I could write a book. I could be healthy. I could be one of the good ones. I could be different. But if the masses of my people don't even have the opportunity to be in these spaces, if I'm the only Black person there, I know there's something wrong. It's 100 jobs, there's one Black person.
So if we change the system, do you think that people, and I'm including myself, are ready to sacrifice what it would be to actually have what has to be done in order to change this diabolical system?
I think Donald Trump helped everybody out with that. When Obama was in office, that'd be a hard sell to tell people, let's leave. Like Malcolm said, the house slave and the field slave, let's get away from here. And the house slave said, what's better than what we got here, right? Back when Obama was in office, or when Clinton had the surplus and the money was flowing back in the day, I could see somebody saying, yo, man, I don't know. Right now, when they talking about deporting people who were born in America, that's his next move. He said, I want to start getting rid of the people who are born here. When he starts talking like that, real Nazi talk, you can tell people that we need to at least create our own systems. We need to start growing our own food, since all the fruit don't got no seeds in it no more, right? And everything's saying bioengineered. Like it's not as hard. And that's the thing too. We've never had a generation with mRNA vaccines and bioengineered food and this galaxy gas where they're huffing on the stuff that usually goes into cars. You can't talk about their brain that don't develop till they 25 frontal lobe and critique a 16-year-old who has all that stuff going on. Meanwhile, like you said, the music is dumbed down, the news is dumbed down. I remember the first time I was watching the real news and they stopped the news and interrupted to update us on something that was happening with Justin Bieber's relationship. I said, it's a new day in America. Because before that, there was something called Entertainment Tonight. There was E! News Network. There were places for that. There was Wendy Williams. There were people who talk like that. It was not CBS. It was not NBC, right? It was definitely not CNN. But I remember when everything came together and I was like, wow, we're going to be dumb. CBS News and World Reports would do a whole hour and talk about one topic. Race and the economy. They go talk to people on the street. They give you statistics. You know, Mike Wallace, right? This is what the Nation of Islam is. The hate they produce. You'd learn. You could sit and watch the news and get smarter every day. Now what happens when you watch the news? NEWS, negative energy, wicked spirits. You get stressed out. They can sell you more, prescription drugs. You get anxiety with the news. You get angry. You get polarized politically. So these young people don't have the structure and the systems in place. Mike, back in the day, we had real community centers with community programs. Go to a community center now, Mike. There's no adults in there. There's just kids sitting there vaping and maybe playing basketball. The pool sticks are gone. Half the games are missing pieces. There's no programs. Back in the day, there was a boys club. There were things you could do. If you had no money and had a good conscience and wanted to make good choices, there were opportunities and options for you.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, it's very difficult to be different and do good.
Jay, what? Go ahead.
No, it was Dr. Aaron Smith. For those who don't know, he's professor at Temple University, bunch of degrees. So it's two comments. I want you to. I don't know if they're missing your point or not. You can
no
Mike,
problem.
you can read these two,
and we can disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing.
Coco Cypher said, "Lady Q, me and Jay knew Khalid,
mm-hmm.
who came home from college and he was shot over a parking space. The system didn't cause that."
But nobody's claiming it did. That's what I want to make sure I'm clear on this. If somebody says the system is 900 times more consequential than an individual and their behavior, it doesn't absolve individual behavior. It just prioritizes it according to the reality of the consequence of how they affect society. If somebody knocks down your school, yes, you can still learn in your house, but the school still needs to be rebuilt because everybody's not going to learn in the house and the school is funded by taxpayer dollars. It's just the difference between individuals and institutions. They should never be conflated. You should not even be introducing your individual anecdotal. I'll give you an example here, Mike and Jay. Ready for this one? Mm-hmm. Conversation about race. Somebody always says, well, I'm not racist. And everybody in the room is like, bro, why are you centering yourself? It's not about you. Can you imagine being in a room, Mike and Jay, of women who talked about being assaulted? And then you take it upon yourself to put the spotlight on you to make it a point that everybody in the room knows, I don't rape any women. And you sound stupid, nigga. We talking about a system. You being nice to women don't change the fact that 1 in 3 of the people that are killed by their partner. It don't change the fact that every 5 to 8 seconds somebody is violated. It don't change nothing going on systemically. So you sound stupid and counterproductive and damn near like an agent with your anecdotal one person I met happened one day talk. Think about it in the context of women being abused. You would sound like an agent. You would sound evil. You would sound stupid and you would sound tone deaf to the systemic problems that women are talking about that they experience from the system and the history of oppression. But when it comes to race, Every time I talk about race, somebody raises their damn hand. Either a coon black person or a white person. They want to make sure that the conversation isn't about this whole system of oppression and thousands of people are afflicted. They want to say, well, one day, one person knew how to do the nay and cook chicken, and she was white.
All right,
it don't change nothing.
Put Coco's Coke.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that somebody got shot for a parking spot. But if you look at why these conditions impact behavior, Mike, you've been to therapy. I've been to therapy. Does the therapist say, "Hey, Mike, let's spend most of our time, our deep dive time, talking about how many drinks you had that one time"? That's not the root of the problem, Mike. I'm not going to sit there with a chart and be like, "Well, you said you went to the Comfort Inn, and at the Comfort Inn, how much did you use to drink?" Well, when you went, that don't matter, Mike. You might say, well, it does matter because it depends on how drunk I get. Yeah, I get it. It matters in the smaller scheme of things. Whether you got a DUI, that matters. But if I want to help you, Mike, if I want to change you, Mike, if I want to help you to get to the root of what caused all that behavior, we're going to end up talking about something that might have happened to your father before you were born. See the difference?
Yeah,
but see how that works, Mike?
Yeah, and that's how the
that's the conversation I'm trying to have with your listener. I'm trying to say, yes, Mike should not have been drinking. We get that. But if we want to help Mike to stop drinking, we got to talk about more than Mike drinking.
So this is a fear I have, Dr. Aaron. This is a fear because you, Dr. Aaron Smith, we're speaking Dr. Aaron Smith, college professor and good friend. When you said,
and person who sat at the Comfort Inn with Mike while he was drinking, because you can be like, yo, Fearless sat there. Fearless didn't stop him. Fearless should have grabbed the glass. Maybe I should have. But if we want to help Mike, talking about what Fearless should have grabbed ain't gonna do it. See the parking lot analogy I just gave? Parking lot pimping?
So
talking about the parking lot ain't gonna help.
This is the greatest fear I have. This is what I say. You made a point, and it was a poignant point. It would have been harder to sell under Clinton and Obama. Even though the system was still as diabolical, it would have been harder to sell.
But it looked better. And Obama was singing real good.
It looked better. But this is my problem. I don't think we're as mad as we should be right now. And I don't think I don't think we understand the brink that we're on. And we're not on it. We're about to fall over the brink.
I think we close.
And I don't think that people, and once again, when I say people, I'm including myself, have gotten checked and the reality is set in. Because I work at a spot where hundreds of people are still returning Amazons. I know people are like, what the hell I got to do? They think life is going as usual. They're doing the same usual things. I'm doing the same usual things. And until somebody knocks on your door and says, you have to go here, that's when it's too late. So I'm trying to figure out, do you feel the same fear? And number two, you got treat each other. How we treat each other is a key. Fight for reparations is another thing.
Well, this is a part two, Mike. That whole golden rule thing, I talked before about that poem. Then they came from me, right? And there was nowhere there to speak for me. I do think if your goal, Charles Schwab, World Economic Forum, he just resigned, but he's famous for saying that you will own nothing and be happy. Like that's their goal. Their goal is for the mass of people to own nothing, right? Let them eat cake, as they said back in the day, right? When fiddle while Rome is burning, right? Bread and circus. As long as they got entertainment and you can feed them, they called it bread and circus back in the gladiator days, right? Just keep them watching the game, watching the show. They said, you know, a society is declining when every place got a big coliseum and a big stadium. What do you see now? Even at the colleges, all we want to do is build stadiums, right? They said that's when you know that ain't nobody talking about libraries, ain't nobody talking about museums, ain't nobody talking about reading. All we want to do is eat, drink, and be merry and watch the show. But what that does, like you said, Mike, that primes us. It's almost like fattening a turkey for Thanksgiving, for the slaughter. You dumb them down, you drug them up, you distract them, right? You get them at fighting at each other, expelling unnecessary energy. You get them focusing on these individual antidotes instead of the systemic roots of oppression that leads you to looking at the elites and the designers as opposed to your neighbor who might be dumb and did something stupid. Then they got you. Yes, you're right. It's like they call it a rabbit-proof fence, right? You know, with the sheep and even with the elephants. In the beginning, when the elephants are young, they smack them and they break them. You know, they can use string later on to keep the elephant in place because the elephant is so reminded of the previous trauma. They did that with African slaves. They would bring the most rebellious person in front of the village. They would rape them. They cut their foot off and everything in front of everybody, like the cops do when they, pull people over, to send a message to everybody else, stay in line. And I think at this point in the evolution of white supremacy and oppression, especially against black people, they've mastered it. It's a fine science. To get from the point of when we were going to Fisk and start our own towns to getting us to go straight from high school to the jails and to want to kill each other and have systems in place that'll promote it and brag about it and make it lucrative, they have created an entire industry on black self-destruction. And I think that it's going to take us to deconstruct that master plan and system. Because no matter what I teach in class, if they put their headphones on and they listen to some music for another 3 hours that's telling them to be a drug dealer and a killer and a misogynist, we got to get to the root of this. And the root of it is who's making billions and who's taking out life insurance policies on these rappers, right? There are people behind the curtain.
And let me get to the front line of what Coco's saying. Because, Coco, I understand what you're saying. I understand. He said of North Philly, Officer Moses Walker was walking to the bus stop and he was robbed and shot three times, killing him. There's no excuse for that. I'm on the front lines and there's no joke. I understand.
I agree.
What Coco and my thing is,
I agree.
In these movements, it all started in these pockets of people who
young
decided,
people usually too.
Young people who decided we're going to build this foundation, and obviously the system got to it. Their job. It's a forever job that the system has. It's a forever job. You just pointed out documents. You just pointed out documents from the 60s that this plan has always been in place. So when Coco speaks upon this, I wonder, and I'm just wondering, I wonder if the movement has to start at such a small pocket in our community in order to get to fight for the reparations, because we have to change the mindset of us in order to get us prepared to try and fight that fight, which is the ultimate fight, which is what everybody did. Harriet Tubman didn't know she was going to be carrying a shotgun for the Union. Like, these people didn't know this. You're muted. You muted yourself.
No, I did that because of the static. Good.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know where the static's coming from either.
It's still there. So when Coco, I get what you're saying on that front line. What is, because when you lose somebody, I know the institution and I know what you're saying, but when somebody dies, that's it. That game was over. So now I have,
and you don't care at that point. And I understand why you don't care. You as an individual having this individual trauma, you don't care about no deep theoretical conversations about nothing. Your man died, your mom passed, your partner. I get that. I've lost people too. This is the issue. Analyzing and exposing institutional oppression and labeling it more consequential to the overall condition of black people does in no way negate individual accountability, responsibility, or individual actions that might adversely impact our community. I don't know why black people in particular think that just because somebody says the system is oppressing us, that it doesn't mean that people also can do better. We both can be true. I just said it earlier about different situations, right? Both things can be true at the same time. These people in the hood who are acting up need to stop acting up. But if we want to stop the acting up altogether, and not just for a day or certain individuals, then we got to get to the root of the problem, which is systemic oppression and miseducation. Hopefully somebody that didn't get it can get it then. Like, I just tried to make it a little bit clearer. But I think, Mike, I think we need to operate in cells. There are going to be national movements like reparations, but I think as black people, we got to stop looking for that one person to lead and a big movement. The reason why 9/11 was so successful is when they started introducing that term terror cells. They had 3 people working together here, 4 people there, and they didn't even know each other. And black people need to be the same way. You live on your block. You got 2 kids that you see don't have their father in their life or got guidance. You see their mom walking around in the middle of the night. You can give them books. You can talk to them. You can acknowledge them and say you see them. You can give them, an example of another way to go. I saw the brother say he was talking to schools. Yes, we can do that. And I think we do need to start locally if we want to impact things globally. So it's not an either or. We got to do this local work. But at the same time, if we do the local work and don't understand the systemic oppression, we'll build it up like Tulsa and they'll burn it down in a day.
So I want to show you this clip. And I'm making a hard left, hard right, whatever the term is.
No problem.
And the only reason I'm showing you this is because I didn't want to make it a topic, but it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart because I realized there's a level where we're at. So there was a principal, and I think this is DeKalb, Georgia, who gets jumped by the students. And it's all on video. So, and I'm going to, because it disturbed me. I don't know what my opinion on this is. I just know that it hurt my heart to watch this, to see where this is gone. And this is the video. Now, I'm going to play the first part twice real quick so you can see it clearly on how the escalation. I know the questions are going to be, what else?
I saw this video, but I want the listeners to see it too.
Okay.
And the viewers. I want them to see it.
Stick it down, Zay, man. Get your ass one, bro.
It's looping now.
No, I did it on purpose.
Okay.
The reason why I hurt my heart is because that's how far gone we are right now. That's how far gone. Like, what is the difference when if that is the environment that is taking place in a place of education, and people can be like, "Oh, it's high school. It's a place of education where I sent my daughters to," and people can be like, "That's a hood school or whatever." There's a lot of schools that this is going on in.
And honestly, Mike, if you are in the hood and if your parents aren't doing their job, the school should be the place to counterbalance all that. Because we're with you for 8 hours a day. Your parents only with you for 2 or 3, and you're only outside after school for maybe 2. So honestly, even if you did live, because this is what happened back in the day, that's why they can't understand. Dr. King might have had a hard time with running water or something, but they still went to, well, not him personally, but saying people in those eras came from shotgun houses and shacks in Mississippi and places like that, and still went to Fisk and Tuskegee, because it wasn't about not having money or being in these conditions. It was being exposed to examples of excellence. It was people instilling in you what you were supposed to be and how great you were despite what you didn't have. It was having school teachers that loved you, and they were the best of the best because they couldn't teach in the white schools. So back then you had people like Du Bois and King going to black colleges and then teaching in black communities. And it's the system. I was looking for a quote by Malcolm X. It's a famous quote. A lot of people are familiar with it. When Malcolm said, "Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? To such an extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose, the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to so much that you don't want to be around each other?" No, before you come asking me and Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? These individual anecdotes I'll add. You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate what God made you? You can't treat somebody that looks like your father, your uncle this way unless you hate your father, your uncle, and yourself. You're looking at self-hatred. People have been saying that for years. If I look at you like my brother, if I look at you and see myself, I'm not going to shoot you and check you and get locked up and violate you sexually as a man. But none of that's going to happen if you have what they say, knowledge of self. That's why there's absolutely no record in the history. I'll give one example. The Nation of Islam. Have you ever seen a video like that from the Nation of Islam? In your whole life. All these chapters, all these mosques, all over America and the world. Have you ever seen in the Nation of Islam somebody smacked one of the supreme captains, or somebody who just joined, wanted to fight Minister Farrakhan? They have a system and a structure in place that even if you used to act like that, they take the worst of the worst. They take killers, drug dealers, all kind of addicts and pimps and hustlers, and they clean them up because they have a system that no matter how you act individually, once you get involved in this system, it's going to get you right or get you out. That's a great example. Think about education. Think about what's going on in these schools when they're trying to take Black history out, take the books out about Rosa Parks and Dr. King, and not teach that these Black people gave the world colleges, that they were the first people on the planet, and every other people are just a mutated version of the original Black people on the planet. You think if these kids were hearing that every day, they'd be fighting like that? I don't think so. Because everybody that's ever come in contact, at least with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad's teachings, they never acted like that. I've never seen one of them who's ever. So all that means is, one example, if there was a mandatory class, not religious, just a mandatory class on the teachings of the Black Panther Party, on the teachings of the Nation of Islam, on the power of the Black church and Black history, on the necessity and governance of the Black family, why it's a small government. Well, if you were teaching these things, instead of talking about Columbus discovering America and making them celebrate a rapist and a pedophile, maybe, just maybe, that kind of system would yield a different result. I'm a psychologist. You know, I can't look at the put it this way, Mike. I used to work in a youth center, and they always told us, never say your first response when you're dealing with young people. Young person comes in, says "F you, Mike," and flips a chair. Don't say, "Nigga, I'll fuck you up." Don't say, "What the hell's wrong with you?" What you need to say is, "Now, was that a good choice? Come here, let me talk to you outside, man. What happened at home? It's only 8:05. You already cursing, man. I know you. I know you.
You can say that for the principal that punched the kid twice. Like, I get it. The student was wrong. But my issue, when I looked at that, I saw, why would the principal, he's an adult, why is he swinging on the kid twice while he's being held? I can see why his friends and his
we got generations of ignorance, Jay. Mike was saying it earlier. It's not just the kids. They've been doing this. When they were buck breaking, when they were lynching, the lynching could have been private. They could have hung somebody and buried them that night. They left them hanging to send a message, to break people's spirit, to make sure people didn't gather and didn't rebel. So if you keep working on something for 300 years, you end up with a King Vaughn, with somebody who wants to kill, who wants to die, who wants to kill Black people more than any other people, who wants to violate and rape women and exploit them. Like Frankenstein was the name of the doctor, not the monster. Frankenstein was the doctor's name.
Let me just, because I don't want to veer off into this. Because
that principal is wild enough.
But I just want to say, I'm not going to say the principal is wild because if somebody did this to me,
you're gonna go punch.
Jay, I'm punching you in the face if you did that to me.
You're gonna punch a kid,
but not the kid.
Why they being held by another teacher?
No.
So I'm gonna get you back.
First of all, for you to think that you know how you would react after this.
You're the adult principal.
Hey, Jay, after this.
He's wrong. You know,
Jay, I'm telling you, I'm not calling you a liar. But if a 17-year-old punched you in your face, I would have to pull you off for all my life.
I shouldn't be in that job then. If I can't,
I agree with both of y'all. No, I agree with both of y'all. That's why I said, Mike. That's why I said you never go with your first response, because I agree, Mike. That is what your first response would be, and that's why when they train people, they say don't go with your first response. Because your first response will have you sliding kids.
There's no man I know that I'm connected to. Great fathers, great husbands. There's no man around me. As a principal, if he got punched in the face, his reaction wouldn't be to hit him back like that.
Well, mine wouldn't be, only because I work in schools all the time. And wait, great story. I wasn't punched in my face, but I was assaulted by a student who ended up getting banned from the campus for a whole year. Disorderly conduct, assault. He got a student conduct hearing, lasted hours. Police officers testified. I was trying to talk nicely to him. The guy smacks my hand, like smacks me. I go, and I kid you not, first response, knock him out. Right after that, about face. I did a beeline, went in the office, told his people.
Changed. If you would have hit him back, then there.
Now, Mike. 15 years ago, we got fired.
He smacked your finger out of
my arm. He got me good with the arm, but it wasn't my face.
He did not do this.
No, you're right.
He did
You're
not.
right. You're right. That's another level.
So please miss me with saying you're disappointed in a principal who, number one, is a human being at first. He's
you can't give into it, Mike. I'm agreeing that I would feel that way too.
But what I'm saying is Jay would give into it.
No, I wouldn't.
He might too. I'm saying, but it's still wrong. If Jay, I'm saying if Jay did it, it'd be wrong too. I'm not saying Jay wouldn't do it. I don't know if Jay would do it. Like you said, I'm not calling Jay a liar. But if Jay did it, I would say Jay's wilding too, though. I'd be like, yo, you can't be like But Mike, like this thing too, Mike. It didn't look defensive. It looked mad retaliatory. It's just it was the angle, Mike. If it was just like a yo, get out of my face, it would have looked better.
The guy look how he's walking. He's already
holding him.
No, he wanted to get one in. He wanted to get one in, Mike. He wanted to get him in, Mike.
I understand. But I'm sitting here. I'm telling you, the minute somebody punches me in the face, it is a whole different.
You shouldn't be working with kids that
I don't care if what you're asking is a level that human beings, most human beings don't have.
No, you're right. You're right about that too. Most people, I do think the people who would be composed are exceptional. That's why they would be in that position as professionals. But even people in those positions, I think a punch in the face is beyond the pale of training for most educators. The only difference is most people don't have hands. So most people would get hit and want to fight, but know they would lose badly. So very few teachers have that temperament and have the ability, because he was throwing some good blows. Most teachers, think about it, most teachers are white women in the public schools. They would just fall to the ground no matter what they wanted to do. Most of these white teachers, some 6-foot black kid hits them, they probably would lose the fight. So yeah, it's a perfect storm of I'm able to fight,
I get it. Yeah.
And that will be my last day.
And understand, the movie that we all saw was Joe Clark Lean on Me. And we all admired him. Because we know if a student, but once again, it goes back to your point. The system he created, no one would have done that to him. But in our minds, if somebody would have, the reason they wouldn't have is because they knew what was going to be in retaliation. But once again, I don't want to veer off on that.
Well, you didn't, because actually, Mike, remember when I first jumped on with y'all and I was talking about this whole thing about not having accountability and people accusing people not getting in trouble? That speaks directly to what I was talking about. It's a full circle moment. Because like you said, if they knew that they were going to be held accountable, Joe Clark was Batman. If they knew that even if you won the fight, you weren't going to win in life, because we're going to have you in some juvenile place so far upstate that you would never see your family till you're 18. Like, there are systems where it's like they know not to play. That's why people go to West Point and go to the police academy. And people know when to act like that. And
exactly.
The way I say it is, people know when to act crazy. You ever see somebody out in the street talking crazy? Then some drug dealers walk up, some shooters, and they stop talking to themselves. They stop talking crazy. So even the so-called crazy people, they know who to get crazy with. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said the system's important, because if the system lets you know, you punch somebody in here, it's going to be the last person you punch.
Because I always said when people say, yo, I just lost it, but they never lose it on somebody who's 6'4", 225 pounds.
Oh, Mike, it used to happen in the club. The guys would be like, oh, excuse me, leaning all over the pretty girls, bumping all over the pretty girls' butts and breasts. And I'd be like, yo, nobody mistakenly bumped their private parts into me. I was in the club 4 times a week, and I'm only 150 pounds. But they knew lights would have had to come on. So lights would have had to come on.
Let me. This is another sad clip. And once again, I'm not judging the person. This just hurt my heart when I saw it. And I was like, what did you just do? And this, once again, I made a hard left. I'm making a hard right. So this right here is something. When she tells the story, this woman got kicked out of a funeral. And this just bothered me.
Oh, I saw this one. Yeah, break it down. Break it down.
Yo, they kicked me out the funeral because I kissed my baby daddy dick. What makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy dick before he died? What makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy? I mean, not before he died, but what makes you think I'm not going to kiss my baby daddy
he died?
Before he go lay down in the grave? Or whatever going to happen to him? What makes you think I ain't going to kiss that dick? So he can remember, bitch. Babe, everybody better be happy I ain't pull his pants down and start sucking on that motherfucker and start choking on that bitch. Fuck you talking about for real, for real. Fuck you talking about. I was ready to lick on that motherfucker. Well, bitch, we finna get a busted right church. Finna fuck you. Fuck.
Well, all right. You talk about hard left. Oh.
But it's not a hard left. It's my pain where I go
pause, hard left, pause.
Yeah. But it's what literally it makes me sad when I see somebody who said, I'm going to put a phone to my face and brag and almost not understand how sick that is what you did. And it goes back to the point of, I know people on the front lines, like Coco, the cop, who when you see this, and then when Dr. Aaron Smith comes and tells us this is a byproduct of all of this. But when you're on the front lines and you see it, you go like, so how do we stop this mentality?
It's heartbreaking. That's the word I always use. It's heartbreaking to hear a woman who's probably somebody's mother talking like that on tape that's going to live forever. Making those kind of decisions. Even this whole idea about, people in our community always say, don't play with the dead. You don't do karma. Spirits, ancestors. Don't talk about them. This is a whole ceremony representing a transition and an opportunity people to renew their faith. Like, it's a whole lot going on during repasts and funerals and eulogies and burials, and that's not a time. It's a solemn occasion. It's not time to play. It's not time to be out of pocket. It's not time to be led by a temptation or anger. It's not time for none of that. That's why even people start arguing. They say, take that outside. So the fact that you welcome in all these demonic forces and spirits, you got to realize that people said this was going to happen. Even in the Bible, it talks about how the children are going to rebel against the parents, right? People are going to start, fighting each other and following false prophets and not caring about stuff. And like all these things are described. And it seems like we're reaching this point. It took literally, if you look at pictures of black people when they only had 2 outfits in the 1920s, they were dressed better and more modestly and more feminine than women today who have a closet full of clothes. They worked a long time. We even do grafting. Remember Mendel with the peas? Y'all did that in like sixth grade. Remember that? They'd be like the dominant gene, the recessive gene, then two recessive, make a recessive, one recessive, one dominant, make half and half, right? Same thing with grafting people and racial and phenotypes, right? If you want to make a king turn into a nigger, it's going to take generations of grafting. It's going to take miseducation. It's going to take drugging. It's going to take alcohol. It's going to take uprooting them. Every time they find a sense of peace and community, you run a freeway through it. You bury it under a lake. You blow it up. You force them out. Eminent domain. You continue. Even the Norris projects and the Blum and East Falls projects. I'm naming places that existed in my lifetime. All the places is gone. Entire communities. Nothing to come back to. Destabilizes people mentally. Disconnects you from your local roots, let alone you don't even know where you're from in Africa. This is by design. Now you keep feeding them negative hip hop. Then you take out the books that can give them change. You have never once invited the Nation of Islam to speak. Just to go back to the one example. I know they're not the only group doing great work. But if you know that there is a group that has a 90+% success rate with black people in terms of improvement. I know JBM in Philly, I'm not saying that it's going to change everything, but it does improve people 90+% of the time. If you care about your 80% black people, Martin Luther King High School and all the other high schools that have, black people as a predominant, why wouldn't you incorporate things that we know have worked for us? You don't really care about our people. Why would you have 80% white women teaching these black men when you know the most successful black men comes when other black men are leading the movement? You don't care. You want to hate on a block from the school.
He froze up. You there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm here.
I want to play this clip. I want to get his thoughts on this clip.
All right. Let's let him set up, see if he can come back. If not, we're about to wrap up anyway. Go ahead, play the clip. What's the clip?
Well, I want him to see it.
Well, let's see. Well, let everybody else see it. You can't say I want him to see it and not to play for
I
everybody
wanted his
else.
thoughts on it. It was the school. He talked about Ruby Bridges earlier, and the teacher. They went back to the segregation days, and they put up the white only sign
in Rockdale County after an elementary school teacher posted whites only and colored only signs on campus as part of a history lesson.
At a school board meeting tonight, the board says the activity was not included in the teacher's submitted lesson plan and was not approved. The lesson focused on Ruby Bridges. Reports saying the teacher posted signs on water fountains that read "for whites only" and "for colored only" as part of the lesson. The social studies coordinator for Rockdale County Public Schools says the county provides recommended lessons that are aligned with the district.
So I want his thoughts on you know.
Well, let me hear the rest of it. Was that it?
25. Well, it was more, but we ain't need all.
No, what are you talking about? I want to hear.
So in our studies, there is an edition that's dedicated specifically to Ruby Bridges.
The teacher did not have any discriminatory intent, and this was not a prank. This activity did not align with district expectations, and we recognize that this may have been hurtful.
This morning, the Georgia NAACP.
So, and then obviously people are speaking out against it. So, you know, it's still happening. Like, she thought it was a good idea to do it.
Well, she was doing an experiment to show people what this was like.
So I wanted his thoughts on. So you saying it's okay?
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I think that has to be explained correctly, because in the climate that we're in right now, some people might say good. So it has to be explained.
Good.
Some people might be like, oh yeah, and they might not think it's an experiment. Hopefully these kids were outraged and go like, why would we do this? Why and see the hatred in it. But I see where she was going with it, and I would love to see what Dr. Smith had to say about it. But once again, our critical thinking, there is no critical thinking. So nobody would, what Dr. Smith mentioned earlier, nobody would understand that this is a reflection of what the system had created. She didn't think that through at all. She didn't think it through at all, but as the president of the United States thought it through. So to show them, are you cool with this? That's the scary part. If you show these kids, are you outraged about this? If a teacher's trying to say, are you outraged about this? I get her point. If she's trying to say, this is what life used to be like. So if they're trying to show some type of empathy or some type of historical knowledge on this is what this country was built on. Nah, white kids never had to get that treatment in schools. And and listen, there may be white kids will go like, you were serious? This really happened? And it may be an educational moment. But when you throw it out there and we only get a glimpse of her getting taken to the school board, she might have been trying to affect the change. She might have been trying to effectively show these kids what really took place. I don't know, but it's a hard thing. This is the country we're in. All right, y'all. I had a whole bunch of silly stuff to play, but Dr. Aaron Smith.
That's why I said we need him on a Tuesday, Wednesday. We need him on a different day other than Friday, because I know he goes in. He goes in.
Whatever his schedule provides, we can put him on a Tuesday. Jay, we can mention that the cardiologist in Canada, the first Black woman. Okay,
that's dope. We got a lot of first Blacks.
I mean, that thing is endless. It's endless to the point where you realize why in this attack they had to suppress that. They have to suppress that information. There's no way this system would be the same if that information wasn't suppressed. There's no way they could teach that in high school, in college, in kindergarten. There's no way they could teach that the people that your parents hate did all this, because your common sense would kick in. Well, why do you hate them if they've accomplished this much? If the reason why we do this and the reason why we have that is because of them, that would go against the whole plan. We got those lessons in school. They showed us movies and videos as well as tapes. You see, they got that out of there. All right, y'all. We'll have Dr. Smith and we'll have him on next week. We'll see if we'll get him on a different date. It's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Everybody be safe out there. I'm going to see the movie Sinners. I'm going to check that out either Saturday night or Sunday when I get off of work.
I'm going to make it a point too, because I keep hearing about it.
I talked to 2 or 3 people. They said, yeah, they're like 2 sex scenes, but there's no skin shown. So, because I didn't want to feel uncomfortable.
You can see it with your kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to, but they asked, so we gonna go. It's a Saturday or Sunday. Hey, if you choose to support it, go support it. Great show. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you, Afro Queen. Shout out to Shelly. You're still in our prayers.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Everybody going through something. You always got a place to come, even if we piss you off or you have a good time and you laugh. Y'all have a great day, my people.
Life and Lady Q. That was I gotta go back and watch them comments to see they were going that. I like that.
Yeah, they would.
Get it. Speak your mind, people. That's what it is. Safe space.
It's about time somebody else gets on the hot seat. God bless.
Yeah, right.
If anyone is interested, okay. Cypher just dropping names now. He's dropping names.
Knowledge.
He's dropping. Yes, dropping knowledge with Dr. Aaron Smith.
Oh, she done gave the show.
You done titled the show. I see you like controlling shit, don't you, Ash? You got a little control thing in you. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, Mike. Hope the show is good tonight.
You got a show tonight?
Wait. Don't you scare me. Hold on.
Mike got a show somewhere tonight. Don't he know about it?
Let me look at my schedule. No,
Shelly
I ain't got no
thank you. Yeah, Shelly. We always rocking with you, Shelly. Yeah, save that chat. Yeah, I'm gonna save this whole show. That was dope. The system.
No, I don't have a show tonight.
The takeaway. The system.
Have a blessed and prosperous day, everyone. Take care of one another, and let's be kinder to our people, especially our youth. They need us. No, I'm creative. Okay, Ash. All right. That's how Jay Black tries to hide his control. It's always good to debate. I didn't say anything about my sweats. Oh, you didn't?
You didn't.
Oh,
man. You kept that out. You didn't.
Clap it up for him.
You didn't.
Fridays. Clap it up. Roxanne stayed the whole show. Okay. The world definitely needs to have a great weekend. Roxanne stayed the whole show. Okay, Roxanne.
Miss Parker said we should edit that. That should be a replay from the time Dr. Smith came on, started talking. Boom.
But it's gonna replay anyway.
Well, I mean,
wrong C word, Mike. Wrong C control. It's wrong C word.
Control was creative.
I ain't gonna get started with you. Don't say be safe. Safes get cracked. Coco, you was on a good roll, man. You was on a good roll.
That was his boom boom. That was his joke. That was like
you know what you meant. Like you know what she meant.
He did good. They called him a hero earlier. You the real hero. I was like, all right, Cypher.
Oh, they called you a real hero. Okay, I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
I was paying attention to Dr. Aaron Smith taking notes and shit, writing down his answers and all that good stuff. Yes, clip that part up. All right, y'all.
All right,
we going. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. I'm back at Jonesy in New York Monday. Hey, keep in touch. If y'all want to keep in touch, y'all keep in touch with each other. Love me for who I am, not who you want me to be, because I can never be that. Understand there's only one thing in life that's guaranteed. It will end. So enjoy every minute, every second. Fight for everything in life. Fight for your happiness. Never let anyone, anything, or any circumstances take it from you. From me, Mike Sean, Jay Black, Sexy Mo, C Chung, Amani, Lady Q, WokeUpInspired.com. Get your hoodies, get your t-shirts. You want something customized, make sure you get the DM. For Financial Rebel, for Dr. Aaron Smith, the entire Takeover Legend family, each and every one of y'all who join us Tuesday through Friday. Thank you. We are gone. Gone in.
Michael Sean and the Takeover Legend, where the truth hurts, but also makes you laugh.